Hi everybody, and welcome to our YouTube channel. We're Arne and Carlos, your hosts, and now we're going to start a series that we're going to be calling Into the Closet with Arne and Carlos. Does that sound like fun?
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. So
we have a lot of strange things in our closet.
We do, yeah. And one of the things we have in our closet is actually, it's not a closet, but it's an archive. And it's got this huge collection of vintage knitwear that we collect and that we also use as a reference in our work. So we're going to start this series Into the Closet with Arne and Carlos, where we're going to be selecting different pieces and showing them to you and telling you a little bit about them.
So, what's your piece?
I'm wearing a sweater that is actually American. Believe it or not, it's not Norwegian, it's not Icelandic, it's American. And it was bought in Japan, in Tokyo, in 2015. We found it in a secondhand store. And I felt completely head over heels in love with it. Arne wanted to buy it. Then he was a little bit, no, I'm not going to buy it. And then I said, buy it. And he bought it. And it has become my favorite sweater. I think of this as my uniform when I go to work. I love putting this one on.
Sometimes I use it.
And sometimes he uses it. I don't know what else we can say about it. We don't really know its age. No. It could be anything from 5 years old or even 2 years old, and it can be 20 years old. We have no idea.
It's probably old.
It's yeah. The wool is of very good quality, so it doesn't pill that much, and it looks like it's kept its shape very, very well. So it's a very nice piece.
And this one is also from Japan. But this is from, what does it say?
Let me see what it says.
Shetland?
It says Shetland, yeah.
Shetland.
It's made in Scotland. Ardfern knitwear, Shetland.
So we found this in a second-hand store in Tokyo, and it's nice.
Yeah.
It's like the Killing sweater, but not.
You mean
this
from the Danish show,
Danish
The Killing?
show, but this is kind of the original, the old one.
It's got more rows of 8-leaf roses. We got it in 2012 on our trip to Tokyo then. Tokyo is a really great place to find the vintage stuff, the good stuff. But actually, you don't necessarily have to come to Norway to get cool Norwegian stuff either, because it is available all over the world in thrift stores. You just have to go into these secondhand stores, these vintage stores, these thrift stores, and you will find a lot of great stuff. Now, we are quite messy because we're creative people and we have what we call the creative chaos, but our archives are actually quite well organized, and we've got loads of information about a lot of the stuff that we collect. As you can see, there's tons of information here that go with the different sweaters that we have in the collection.
So sometimes if we find something old, we go through our albums, and sometimes we find the name.
Yeah.
On the garment, like this one. This is from my it's called great grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
This we found the pattern, and this is called Bengt. It's a man's name, and this looks like it's been made in the 50s or the 40s because it's very short and very narrow. I've used this a lot, but I haven't used it for a long
maybe
time
your grandfather or great grandfather was also quite short.
I don't remember, but
it was obviously knitted for him.
Yeah, it was knitted for him.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit tight when I use it, but I think it's a very nice jacket.
Yeah, let's put it on our friend here. We have an assistant today.
And you see it's made the proper way with the facing, and it's made by sewing machine on the shoulder. That's the way they did it.
Yeah.
And you see this is short. It's just to the waist.
Really, really beautiful. The wool is of a good quality Norwegian wool, very sturdy. This kind of good quality, sturdy, thick Norwegian wool doesn't really pill, and it looks pretty well. We can show you the back as well. It's got the little lice, and then it's got the pattern across the shoulder, which is very lovely. Mm-hmm. So it's a lovely piece, and it's really nice that Arne has actually saved all of these, and so that we now have them in our archive.
And it's been used a lot.
Yeah.
It's almost felted. And then we have another one, which is this one. It's not the nicest one, but it's cool anyway. And this we found in Paris. And it's actually made in Norway. It's from a very old store, I think. It doesn't exist anymore. It's hand knitted 100% wool made in Norway.
So a Norwegian sweater, let's put it on the dummy.
I use this a lot. It's a little bit short on the sleeves, but normally when I buy knitwear, they are short on the sleeve. I don't know why, but I buy everything. And this is not the most beautiful one, but we bought it because we thought the idea of putting the pattern on the front was cool.
It's very interesting because it's actually the whole panel, and then you've got the raglan sleeves, and it actually places the pattern in a very interesting and quite modern way. This is a very old sweater, but it's quite modern in its look. So
and we don't know the name because we haven't found the pattern. So this is from Paris.
And this was actually something we bought for nothing. We paid nothing for this. It was in a really bad thrift store. Well, actually, the thrift store was really good. It was just, it had really, really cheap stuff that most of it was really bad. But then we found this treasure and we just had to have it.
Then we have this one. This is something I made when I was a boy. I haven't used this for many, many years. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use it anymore. Maybe I will. I don't know. This is a raglan sweater, and it's made of leftover yarn. And what I did was, I was knitting it with gray because I had a lot of gray yarn, but I also had a lot of leftovers. So I was knitting the whole sweater with two colors
at the same time.
Two threads
so
at the same time. Two
one
ends.
of them is always gray. The other one is of the other color.
So the base is gray, and then I just put in a new color, and there was no plan. So it's a nice way to get rid of.
It is, but if you look closely at where you've got the yellow and you've got the gray, you've got this beautiful contrast, and you've got this pattern that is very irregular, but it's very interesting and it's very beautiful. And here, it's kind of like the red and the black and the green looks like it's been sprinkled on top of the gray. So it has a really nice effect. It's really nice. I don't know, how old were you when you did this? Do you remember?
No, I think it was in the early 80s.
So you would have been like
20-ish,
23 maybe?
Ish.
23-ish. Yeah, but it's nice, and I'm glad that you made it, and I'm glad that you saved it, and I'm glad that it's now part of our archives as well.
I have to fix the cuff. You see, I used it a lot while I was milking the cows and working on the farm.
Okay, so we have another very special piece in the collection, which is this one here. This is one of our more cherished pieces. This little children's sweater used to belong to Arne's father's family. It was first worn by your father's cousins, and then it was a hand-me-down. It went down to their children, and then it came to your father.
It's been in the family for many
years. So, and you wore this as a child?
Yeah.
And your sister wore it as a child?
No, she had a red one.
She had a red one. Did your brother wear this?
Me and my brother.
Yeah. So Arne and Arne's brother shared this beautiful little piece here that you can see. And it is in perfect condition. And you can see the back, how beautiful this is. And this is really, I mean, this is a very high quality sweater. I mean, it's not only very beautifully knitted, but the yarn, the quality, I wish you could feel how this quality feels, because it is actually very soft, but the yarn is very sturdy and it doesn't itch at all. It's just so nice to touch, and there's absolutely no pilling, there's no wear and tear. And imagine, this is something that you guys were wearing, rolling around in the hay in the barn, playing with the cows.
That's maybe one stitch gone.
Maybe one stitch gone, yeah, but it's
it's
still
nice. This is the Setesdal pattern. It's the traditional Norwegian pattern from Setesdal. It's very nice, and with nice buttons.
Very nice buttons. Well, this one here we kind of fold and keep in a very special place and make sure that it's always in good condition. We're going to show you two more today. We're going to do this other one first. This one here is not in its best condition, and the reason, this is a really old one as well. This one is Arne's grandmother's sweater. I think it was her favorite sweater.
Yeah, she used that a lot.
She used this a lot. Originally, let's put it on the mannequin.
You can just put it over.
Oh, be careful, it's so delicate, this one. I think you should do the buttons. Originally, this sweater was her finest sweater, and it was decorated with beautiful ribbons. So let's put it on. It was decorated with these beautiful, beautiful ribbons that went down on both sides. Eventually, when Arne's grandmother had used this too much, and it started to tear, she cut the sleeves off, and then or a part of them, and then she put a 3/4 length sleeve on them.
You see, it's very short.
Because and it was actually easier for her because she would be going into the barn and milking the cows, and with a 3/4 length sleeve, it was easier for her to work. So it's got the sleeves cut. Unfortunately, she did use it a lot, so there's a lot of wear and tear on it.
And
she's been repairing it.
A lot of
but still, if you see
this
this pattern, it's very, very beautiful. We love this very stylized 8-leaf rose, and you can also see it here. The back is actually in better condition than the front, and you can see it across the back and down.
And we never try to repair this because it's nice the way it looks.
The way it is. Yeah. Luckily for us, though, 5 years ago, when we had our 10-year anniversary as ARNE CARLOS, the National Museum of Art, Design and Architecture here in Norway, they made an exhibition of our work, and they actually included this sweater as it is a great source of inspiration for us. And it has been through one of those conservators, and they have treated it, and they have done a lot of things, to kind of stop the deterioration. And now we are keeping it in a better controlled environment, and hopefully we will be able to keep it at least as it is now for a long time.
And which is also nice is all the buttons, because when she lost the button, she just put on a new one from what she had. So I think there are like 5 different buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 different buttons on the jacket. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's history.
And usually we've worked a lot with this one. This one has been the inspiration for a whole collection we did a few years ago when we were in the ready-to-wear industry, producing knitwear and supplying stores. And sometimes when we do our video tutorials, we're actually wearing the modern versions that we've designed of this sweater, the old samples, the ones that we have left. So look closely, go back and look at other videos and see if you can find this sweater. Let me turn it again so that you can see that pattern. So look for this pattern in our other videos, and I'm sure that you can find it. And if you find it, leave a comment saying, I found it. That could be pretty cool. So let's see how good of an eye you have.
And this is called the Blue Mountain jacket.
Yeah. And it was designed in 1956 originally, so it's old, but it's still from recent times.
And it's nice on the inside.
Very nicely made. It almost looks machine knitted. I mean, it's incredible.
My grandmother was a great knitter.
She was probably one of the best. Look at that.
And the last one.
The last one
Put the last one up.
The last one is a very special sweater. Some people love it, some people hate it. And that's the way it is. It's actually a piece that we have made ourselves. At one point, we had so many sweaters that were in our collection. There was a lot of stuff that was not even ready. I mean, there were certain fragments of certain things.
Like the UFOs?
Like the unfinished objects. And there were some things that were not meant to be saved. And it came to a point where we just started cutting up those pieces, or if they were unfinished pieces, we started unraveling parts of it, and then we actually sewed it into a jacket. So
it's
as you can see here,
inside, but you just overlocked it and
made it into a jacket, and we can put it on the dummy so that you can see what it looks like.
And this has actually been used so much that we had to change the cuffs like 2 times, and this is not the original anymore. So we're changing everything.
So anyway, the sweater itself has been cut and made into, I mean, many sweaters have been cut to make this sweater. You can see it here in the back. There's one panel here. There's another panel here. There's one on the side, and you can see the sleeves. If we stretch out the sleeves, they've got different sweaters. And then the front has got as well. There's a panel here, one there, that one over here. And then what we've done is we've sewn them together with a sewing machine, and then knitted the placket, knitted the collar, knitted the cuffs and the bottom. And here you can even see that it's been repaired already because we've used it a lot. And when we've shown this sweater, some people really hate it. They think it's super ugly. Some people just love it and love the idea.
How can you hate this?
I know. I mean, how can you hate this?
What's wrong with people?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's a good question. But you know, really, I mean, it's a recycled idea. These are things that are sentimental to us and that we can't throw away. But at the same time, in that context, it's also things that were not finished and things that really didn't have a place in the collection as they were. But now, finally, we have found a way to incorporate those fragments into this sweater.
So take care of your old knitwear and your unfinished projects and make something like a jacket. And this is made from, this piece is from my grandmother. This is something she started, but she never finished it. So we just found this unfinished object. And we took the pieces and we used it in this one.
And then you've got, this is a kid's sweater here.
Yeah, this is the same as the one on the shoulder and the one in the back.
Down here.
So this is the traditional Setesdal sweater. And this is something called the Per Spook sweater, which was very popular in the 80s. He was a Norwegian designer who had his fashion house in Paris, and he made this sweater for the arts and crafts community in Norway.
And you knitted this?
This is I made 2 of these. This is the first one I knitted for myself, and it was totally worn out, and it was also a little bit tight. I gained weight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Well, not that much.
Well, it was too tight, and so I cut it up and we put it in this jacket.
And here we've done a little bit of a hand embroidery thing.
Yeah. And this is from a worker, how do you say?
Yeah, it's like a Norwegian workwear
sweater.
kind of sweater.
They call it the Icelandic sweater in Norway. In Iceland, they say this is not Icelandic, but it's called Islander in Norway.
And this is one of those designs that you can find a lot of around in Norway. It's used, you know, for work. People who work in, I don't know, maybe in farms or in places where you need to dress up because you're outdoors and things like that. So yeah, I mean, personally, we love this. I used to wear this all the time until one day we decided it had to go into retirement. It's now part of our archive. It was displayed together with the Arne's grandmother's sweater at the exhibition of our work that was up through the National Museum here in Norway 5 years ago.
But now you probably use it again because it's out of the closet. So
it's out of the closet. You're right. The sweater is out of the closet. I might actually have to start using it again.
It needs a little bit of washing, or we can put it outside in winter to make it fresh again.
Yeah.
But
some tender loving care for sure.
This still works.
And I don't know, I mean, what do you guys think about it? Do you love it or do you hate it? And if you love it, would you like a pattern for this? I mean, we have been thinking...
We don't have it.
But we have been thinking of putting out a pattern. But I mean, if people hate it, we won't. But if you love it, let us know in the comment fields down there. And, you know, we might actually consider making a pattern for this.
So that's it from now.
That's it from now.
We have more in the closet for you for another time.
Yeah, we have loads of stuff in our closet. So we will be back with new
sweaters, jackets, hats. We have mittens.
Yeah. So we will come back and tour a little bit more of our archives. We have so many pieces really that it would have been impossible to do a tour out of that because you wouldn't have seen anything. But this way, at least, you've seen 8 of the most, of our favorite pieces. Actually, all of those pieces are our favorites. Yeah.
That's it for now.
So thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe if you like what you see. Bye.
Bye.